Let's be real as fuck about life, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Hi, I'm Julie Chin. You can call me Jules. The Real as Fuck brand is all about providing tools and resources to help new and struggling agents succeed. I share my personal experience not only as a new real estate agent, but also how I overcame the odds starting out as a single mom with a mountain of debt and a ton of self-doubt. Hi, I'm Julie Chin, host of the Real as Fuck podcast. Today's a really cool opportunity for me as I get to chat with a few of my favorite ladies from the Rockstar Luxe team in New England. Sarah, Claire, and Marissa are all at different points at the beginning of their real estate careers. And our plan today is to hang out and chat about some relevant topics for new agents. We can already foresee this being a series, so we hope you love it and get a lot out of it. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at RealAF Program. Ladies, can each of you introduce yourself and tell our listeners how long you've been in real estate?
Yes, my name is Sarah Nason. I've had my license for about 2.5 years, but I've really been doing real estate full-time for just about the past year.
And I am Marissa Parks. I started pretty recently, in June of 2022, so almost a year, and joined the team in August. And that's kind of where I'm at now.
And my name is Claire Cornish. I also got my license the same time that Marissa did in June of 2022. And I joined the team shortly after her in around December, I think, of 2022. And I've only been on the team for a few months now, and it's been great so far.
Well, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your time, and I know we're going to have some fun. And we'll just keep all of our bloopers in from this point on. I was thinking, let's start at the beginning. What was that like for you, just passing the real estate exam?
Yeah, so for me, I would say I was kind of shocked when I passed it the first time. I don't know why I wasn't expecting to.
Show off.
Then I overstudied. But then I was kind of surprised that you pretty much throw away that entire textbook that you memorized, and everything that I thought I was supposed to know about real estate was really kind of just beginning at that point.
Yeah, how about you, Marissa?
For me, I remember distinctly passing the test and rocking out to, I think it was Maneater on the way home. And here in my head now. Yep. Just thinking like, yeah, I'm going to crush this real estate thing. And then I'm like, wait, but what do I do? So definitely had a feeling of lost for quite a while. So.
Yeah, and for me, I did not pass it the first time. So I'm sure that will resonate with a few people. It took me 3 times to pass both the state and the other portion of the test, which seemed like a total waste of time, and it was a total nightmare. So I thought, well, it can only go up from here. If this is the worst it gets, then I'm fine. But I was in for quite a surprise because it did get worse after the test.
Let's start there. What do you mean by that?
So I guess for most of us going into it, as Sarah said, what do you do? Where do you start? You pass the test and you think, okay, there are natural next steps that I need to take, and it should be laid out before me. But you realize that the class prepares you for the test, and that's it. And then you're lost. You don't know where to go from there. So I really thought, well, if I pass the test, then I can do anything, because this surely has to be the hardest part of getting your real estate license and starting this career. But I think that you are not prepared for the career that you think you're going to be prepared for. And, you know, for some people, you're not even prepared for the test. Like me, I thought that I was prepared enough, and it wasn't at all what I expected it to be. So, yeah, I would just say that it's not as easy as you think it's going to be, and it was really discouraging too, because you have all these hopes and dreams for this career, and you work so hard to get the license, and then you're lost. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that, but it's not talked about so much. So I think that that's good to normalize for people.
I agree 100%. I think of it as passing the exam. And so I'll be with you. I did pass the national first, but I did not pass the state of New Hampshire the first time. So you're not the only one. But I felt like I was so excited and so proud of myself, because I put off that test for almost a year because I was so afraid of taking it. And then I passed the exam and I felt like I jumped off a cliff. And it's like you're trying to keep yourself motivated and excited, but you're also discouraged and pretty scared all at the same time. And we all are part of the same brokerage, and it's a phenomenal brokerage with an enormous amount of training, but you come out of that exam and there's all this information coming your way. Here, you need to learn this signing program. You need to learn the MLS. Our brokerage has a CRM system, so that's another software program we have to learn. And I'm probably even missing some, so feel free to chime in. But it's all this information coming at you that you have to learn. And it's like you can't even keep it straight, right? Like, which one do I need to learn first?
Yep, absolutely. I definitely remember a deep sense of overwhelm with all of the different systems and processes. So that definitely resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can remember when I knew what brokerage I wanted to go to, and I was excited about that. And then being faced with all the different programs you have to learn, you have this overwhelm of, where do I start with all of this? Do I start with the programs? Do I start meeting people? How do I find buyers? How do I find sellers? Are they going to come to me? Do I need to look for them? How do I let my sphere, my family and friends, learn to trust me as a real estate agent, not, the previous career I had? How do I get people to think of me first? And then when that first person does reach out, how do I answer any of their questions?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like from the moment you pass the test, your to-do list just keeps expanding and expanding, and it's just to the point where you feel like you're drowning, and that will either make you push harder or it'll make you give up because it doesn't seem worth it.
That's a really good point. So with that in mind, all four of us did get through that. So let's chat a little bit about how you navigated that and persevered. And it's going to be different for each one of us a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I can start with that. I've had my license longer than Claire and Marissa have, but to be completely honest, well, no, not in this case though, because I would say for my first year, I felt like I wasted my first year in real estate. I took all kinds of classes and training, but I avoided some of the things that I didn't want to do in the beginning. The things that made me nervous, the things that were outside of my comfort zone, I'm scared to just cold call people. I'm going to do my comps wrong. I don't know where to properly look up deeds and go back through all the properties. And am I going to be the best agent for this person? So instead of really just going for it and just doing it, I didn't do much. I just kind of hoped that it would get easier, and it does after a while, but you have to get out of your comfort zone. You really, really do. And it's just kind of a scary place at first when, like Claire said, you feel like you're drowning. But my biggest thing that really got me over that hurdle was to just do it. Just do the things that I know I need to do. And what's my why? Why am I doing this?
Why are you doing real estate? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what was that for you? That had to be a critical point for you, right? So you had to focus on that, kind of have a daily mantra, if you would.
Oh, of course. It took me almost 12 months to close my first deal. I think it was about 11 and a half months. So I closed my first property, and getting that first commission check and seeing, okay, I can do this. It was believing in myself, believing in the brokerage and the people that were surrounding me, knowing that I don't have to have all the answers. You just have to understand where to go get them and when to ask for help. I'm not a lawyer. I am not a title company. You outsource those things to the people that actually understand those questions. And the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable. So bringing home that first commission check and knowing I am doing this because I want to provide for my family. I want to grow in real estate investments. I want to help other people be able to, purchase their first home, to sell their family home that they've built from the ground, and, their precious memories and assets. Understanding those whys will make me do all the other things that I really didn't want to do within real estate. And it becomes so much easier, and it just becomes a career that you actually really love in the process.
Oh, I love that. I wish we had some music.
Cue the small violin.
There, right? Totally. The key was getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. It's such a huge part of this career path, I think.
Absolutely. That everything, all that resonates with me, Sarah. Mm-hmm. For me, I think I am not at all what you think of when you think of a real estate agent. I always describe myself as a severe introvert. So for me to take on a career where you are largely working with people all of the time, it just seemed, not what you would expect. So definitely pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and being okay with being comfortable. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But just starting small.
How do you get through that?
Well, the team, for one, honestly. I definitely attribute a lot of where I'm at now to the team. I honestly would have quit by now if I wasn't on the team. So I'm definitely very grateful for that. And also starting small. I have a little sign on my wall that says "Start where you are," and I remember looking at that a lot. Especially, I remember sitting in my CRM system from the brokerage, trying to figure it all out, and seeing that, just doing it one step at a time.
Start where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I love that for you, and we're also proud of you.
Thank you.
Claire, how about you?
I would second what Marissa said about the team, having a lot to do with not giving up, because I would have. And my why with the whole getting into real estate, and, it's a big financial and time commitment in the beginning. It was to help people find homes. And to be honest, now it's
we don't want
hard.
you lying.
Well, okay. Well, this is very honest. Now it's like I'm struggling internally again because with the way the market is in North Conway and around here, there's just not enough available for me to fulfill my why. You know, for some people, it's attainable with what's on the market. But right now, for first-time home buyers, it's really difficult. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and just, oh, this really is unfortunate, because I want to be helping these first-time home buyers and these people that are in the community to settle down and find their first home. But so that's been a little hard lately, just to be thinking about, oh, that was my why. And it's like, I can't even do that right now with the way that things are.
Yeah, navigating the changes in the market, that's always going to be a brand new item for all four of us, because we haven't been in it decades. You know, these seasoned agents who've been doing it 20, 30 years, they've seen the fluctuations, and they've experienced it, and they are sometimes better able to pivot. However, I think we can do just as well, in that we can focus on our why and tune out the noise about the market. At the end of the day, it's about putting your head down and working, communicating with your database, which your customers and people and leads, and staying in touch with them and in front of them, and being aware of what's going on in our market and what properties are coming on. But all that took us a while, right, to understand. When we first passed the exam, we were clueless about any of those things. So just even taking a moment and realizing how far you've come in such a short period of time can give so many others hope, because no one's been in it 5 or 10 years, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's easy to forget how far you come, because they might be little steps that have gotten us to these points. But I think it's important to reflect and think back to the day you passed the test to where we all are now. And it's taken a lot, and none of us have given up. And that in and of itself is huge, because a lot of people can't say that they made it this far, a year in with their license, be it a really slow year or a really successful year. I mean, that time is still passed, and you're still persevering and trying to get through it regardless of how it has gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to chat about something that I think is so prevalent from that point of passing the exam, is, besides being overwhelmed in everything we've spoken about, is a few things that people don't like to talk about. They find it embarrassing. And that's self-doubt and insecurities and feeling stupid. I remember the first sort of real estate gathering I went to, I was terrified. And everyone, I don't know, they just seemed to know everything. And it just took a lot of courage for me just to even ask a question. And I asked the agent across from me, how does a new agent find business? And she laughed and said, you'll figure it out. We all had to. So obviously that's the moment the book was born, without me knowing it, of course, because I just felt like something needed and should be there to help walk us through something as simple as figuring out what brokerage to join and what questions to ask. These are all really important things, not to mention, what do you do after you pass the exam? That's a tough time. And I think that emotionally, people isolate during that time of feeling overwhelmed. And maybe not everyone, right? I don't really know how extroverts handle that process. But how was that for you guys with handling self-doubt and insecurities? And did you feel like, for lack of a better word, stupid? I mean, I know that's not a politically correct term, but that's kind of how I felt. And then that was embarrassing.
I think definitely. I would definitely consider myself as an introvert. And I think understanding that's okay. I don't think I could handle having an extroverted realtor. So there are plenty of other people that would love a realtor that understands from that point of view. There's so many different personalities out there. It's more important that you are genuine in who you are to your customers and your clients and to the other agents as well. And you bring just as much value as someone else does. We all learn in different ways. We are presented with information in different ways. And I think part of that helped me overcome some of that self-doubt. And it still creeps in. It still shows up every now and then. Even knowing that I was going to be on a podcast, I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to hear my voice. And like, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're bringing value to other people. That's what's important. And just making sure that you continuously push those self-doubts aside and say, you're not doing it alone either. You've got entire, for us, we've got the team that's all working together with us. And that's been such a huge pivot in my real estate career, is having other agents and a mentor that I trust. And I know that not only do they always have my back, but they are just as invested in my success, even sometimes more than even I feel like I am for myself. And even introverts need some of that mentorship and camaraderie.
Yeah, very well said. Ladies?
Claire?
Sure, I'll go. Marissa's an introvert, if you can't tell, as well.
Well, we all are. Well, I don't know if you consider yourself one, but I definitely do. So everything I'm doing with Real AF is so out of my comfort zone.
It's good. It's good to be uncomfortable.
Right.
I would say before being a real estate agent, I thought I was extroverted. And I don't know when the switch happened. I don't know if it's because I surrounded myself with introverts.
Sorry.
What it is. But I would say now, I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk on the phone. Please just let me be. Yeah, so that has been really strange for me and difficult. And hopefully it doesn't stay like that, because I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you do that. But then in the other topic of conversation, the self-doubt, absolutely, I think you have self-doubt in the beginning. And then when we were talking about the to-do list getting longer and longer, you have more and more self-doubt. The more things that you have to do, the more you doubt yourself, because it seems more and more unattainable. And I would say that has been one of the biggest challenges for me. And that if you have the availability to join a team, to take advantage of that, because I could have been on the team sooner and I was really confused. Okay. A little passive aggressive. But I was confused and I was worried, and Julie sought me out and she pursued me, for lack of a better term, and just encouraged me.
Aggressive. I just felt like I was trying to be support at a distance, like checking in on you.
Yes. Guardian angel.
You pursued me. It was very nice and loving. That sounds romantic.
Julie doesn't want anyone to fail.
She had my best interest before she even knew me. I probably wouldn't even be doing this if it was not for her. So we'll just throw that out there. A little plug for you.
Well, thank you.
So
yeah,
I
connected before the exam, before you took the exam.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's yeah. Look at us now. More so you than me. But, I would say that what Sarah was saying also about just having the team and the support, it's so true. If not for just support for your endeavor, but also your mental health, because you can, say, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and it resonates with people on the team. Maybe not everybody, but I mean, we're all going through the same struggles at different times, and so I think that helps a lot, especially for me.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
because then no one feels alone. We can help pull each other out of, I always think of a roller coaster, right? You've got your highs when you're busy and doing well, and then your lows where you're lost, overwhelmed, or struggling to find business. And that's never going to change. You're really always on that roller coaster. So as a team, I know we're very aware of the highs and lows and try to just help that person through, because you can tell when someone needs that a little bit of extra. And everyone has people in their homes who love them and support them so much. But there is something to be said for having a group of individuals who truly understand what you're going through and knowing that you can trust and share.
That 100% resonates with me, especially just kind of coming off of one of those low roller coaster dips. Definitely got through it with the team support. And I think for me, I kind of live in my head. So I do often feel that feeling of questioning, is this right? Do I sound stupid? So just knowing that other people are feeling that way and going through that, it definitely makes me feel less stupid. It makes me feel supported and normal, and, it's okay to not know what you're doing for a while.
Right? Yeah.
For
And
a while.
A while.
For a long while.
It's true, right? Because I think that there's no clear answer to how long that's going to be. It's different for every single person. I think our situation, being on a team, can make it a little easier because, for us personally, we've now got our executive assistant, Amy, who's really, really incredible. And she just is regularly touching base and talking goals and motivation and helping wherever anyone needs help. And so you always have that push or that accountability partner, really, with the whole team. But we've got that extra blessing there.
I think and I think this is where Marissa, Claire, and I would all agree that if it weren't for us joining this team and being under your mentorship, we probably would have given up on real estate. I was close. I was very close. I never really told you that, but that was before I joined the team. Because I just felt so lost, and I felt like I was really trying. Like, I was trying hard to find that business. I was trying hard to learn, to read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, but none of it quite helped. None of it was quite enough. I felt like everything was talking about all these people that were doing $10-20 million in commission or gross sales every year. And I'm like, this is great. I would love to be one of those someday. But what are those steps before? Where are those agents that are a year, 2 years in? How did they get over this first hurdle? And that, I feel, is where it's very hard to sometimes find the support, and why I know your book and this program is going to be huge for people, because it's easy for other successful people, not just agents. It's easy for other successful people to want to join in when you are successful yourself. but it's hard for someone to mentor somebody that has no idea what they're doing, and they, might not see a return on that investment for a little while. So I feel like there's not a lot of materials out there for those people.
Yeah, good point. And I would just like to make it known I didn't pay her to say any of that.
Suck up.
This just, it's interesting. I struggled so much in the beginning, and to see what has developed, I'm so passionate about mentoring and helping new agents navigate that beginning process. And I'm not even talking about the program or the book. It's just reaching out to someone when they join our brokerage and they're new and trying to make that connection. Or like in Claire's case, someone locally introduced us and said, hey, she's thinking about going into real estate. So I just wanted to be that support for her and say, hey, this is what I used to study. And actually, now that I think about it, I met Marissa before she took her exam, and I lent her my resources.
Yep, and I was just going to mention that too. Yeah, I was going to say, you're more like a real estate guardian angel than a pursuer. That's a better word.
Make sure we make it out alive through the process. Yeah.
Thank you. I sound less aggressive now.
Yes. Less like an assailant. Is that the right word? I don't even know. But yeah, and that was really helpful too. Just to know. Again, just that camaraderie and knowing that somebody's there to support you, and whether or not they get just out of the goodness of their heart. That definitely means a lot.
There's a lot of sharks in real estate, and it's kind of scary in the beginning.
It is scary.
Because you feel like you don't want to bother these people that are so professional. And you're like, I'm just this little nobody new realtor, but I need a lot of help.
A little minnow in a large shark tank.
Well, I'm hopeful that as we get members into the program, that the weekly Zoom sessions will be what we've all cultivated naturally together, because I just know I would have done anything to have something like that when I was new, and to watch the three of you develop and grow in confidence and push past insecurities and obstacles and continue persevering is an honor for me to be part of. So I can see all four of us being in that member group and helping be a blessing to other people as well. And that's really an incredible gift. And I really appreciate you all being here today. And I think on our next podcast that the four of us are together, we can touch upon some other topics like balancing jobs, and we'll dive in more into navigating those first steps. I think that'll be a really important place. We'll spend some time on that and give our listeners some solid takeaways on what their first focuses need to be. So thank you for your time and for sharing your experiences and being vulnerable and present. I really appreciate each of you.
Thank you. And so everybody knows, I was way out of my comfort zone.
Same.
If you couldn't tell.
I kind of love this. I think we should do it all the time.
There you go. I had this feeling it would become a series. I just felt really certain about that. And after having our time, I hope our listeners enjoyed as much as we've enjoyed being able to be here together. Make sure you subscribe to our Spotify channel so you get updated every time we drop a new podcast. And check out our website at realafprogram.com.